Okay, we're back again with Bob Toski. He's holding a Bobby Jones putter and a Walter Hagen putter. This is Bruce Toski, and Dad already had the Bobby Jones putter, but the Walter Hagen putter, we came across that while viewing Dad's golf equipment online on the internet, and he saw the Walter Hagen putter, and he mentioned to me that was one of his favorite putters, and we rounded one up off of eBay. And I also gathered up several of the Bob Toski McGregor line of clubs. We've come across three now: the Mighty Might, the Registered, and the Autograph, with help from members of the Persimmon Golf Society on Facebook. I've met many very amiable and helpful golfers on that society there, and so I'm gonna let Dad tell us about these putters. Go ahead and turn the putters around. Show us the other side, Dad.
Well, first of all, if I kind of show you the front of these two clubs, the face angle is one has a in-darted lines, and this was the putter head is the front of the putter is very simple and smooth, and this has indented markings, but it doesn't make any difference about how you putt the ball. The ball will roll off the putter head. But this is the Walter Hagen putter, and this is the Jones putter on my right. Both have, as you can see, have offset and a lot of loft. At that time, I think Jones's putter had 6 degrees. But my point is, I met Walter Hagen before I met Bobby Jones. I had met Walter Hagen at the Buick Open up in Detroit, and then I met Bobby Jones when I was invited to the Masters after I had won in 1954 at Wilmington, North Carolina, the Azalea Open. And the beautiful part of that is I met both of these great players. And here I have a copy of the Walter Hagen putter and the Bobby Jones putter, which, as you can see, if you look at the shafts, they're different colored, and I took if you zoom down on the shafts, you see I took the shaft, and the grip was so bad that I had to take this grip off, and I'll have to put another grip on the Hagen putter.
Right.
And I'm leaving the Bobby Jones putter as it is. And if you look at the hosel, one has a lot thicker. This Jones putter has a lot more thicker hosel than the Hagen putter. And you can imagine them putting with these types of putters, where today, though these putters' heads were a lot lighter, and the entire head weight was a lot lighter, so they had use a lot of wrist action to get more speed to get to roll the ball, because the greens weren't that fast like they are today. And that's why if you look at the technique of them, they used to just kind of give it a good tap, as opposed to a stroking force going through the ball. They used to tap, and Gary Player was an example of that. People will watch his putting strokes. And so was Palmer. We were more tap putters with more wrist action, where today the technique has changed. But the beautiful part of when I show you these two putters is I met Bobby Jones in 1954 when I was invited to the Masters. And when I was introduced to him, I called him Bobby. And he called me Bobby. And of course, when people were introduced to Bobby Jones, they would call him Mr. Jones or Bob Jones. And he said, well, very few people call me Bobby. And I said, well, that's a young man's name, because when I was young, everybody called me Bobby. And now it's Bob Toski. And he thought that was pretty interesting that I called him Bobby. and he called me Bobby. So that was my first meeting with Bob Jones. And probably one of the most intelligent golfers that ever played. As an amateur, he beat all the professionals. And Hagen was the first player when we was at St. Andrews, and had, I think when he won the Open there, he wasn't allowed to eat in the clubhouse. So he ordered a table outside the clubhouse with champagne, and his guests joined him at the table to have supper or whatever it was outside the clubhouse. So Hagen was one to break the psychological effect that golfers weren't just caddies. Because if you were a caddy, today you go to college and you grow up in the college ranks to become professional. Well, we all became golfers from the caddy ranks. And we go back to Hagen and a lot of the great players like Sam Snead and Ben Hogan, who used to caddy like I did, to become involved in how to play the game and become successful. So I'm proud to have these two clubs that, Bruce, you got the Hagen putter for me.
Yeah.
But the story behind that even more is that I had a Hagen putter just like this, and I told you I gave it away. And I said, I wish I could have another one that's like that. And you found an exact replica of that putter for me. But now I've got to put a new grip on it, and I want to putt with it like I did back when I was about 16 or 17 years old. So the story of the two putters is the story of two great players in the history of golf, which your father met.
Okay, thank you, Dad.